All right. Good morning, Alex,
Good morning, Aditya.
and thank you for joining this vodcast series. We're here to specifically talk about scalability.
hmm
But before we do all of that, let me just talk to you about you. Tell me what you were up to before you joined Aber.
So before I joined Aber, I was in business development in the chromatography, mass spec, and laboratory gas generation industry,
Okay.
which was extremely interesting. I joined Aber about 7 months ago now as a product manager,
It
looking
seems
after.
like you've been here much longer than that because of how much you've achieved in these 7 months. I must add very quickly, but please go on.
Well, I don't know about that. I think it seems like I've been here forever because I keep bothering everyone.
That's why you were.
I'm one of these insatiably curious people. If I have a question, I'll bother people until someone answers it. That's both internal and external stakeholders. If I've ever visited, if anyone listening to this, I've visited your site and bombarded you with questions, I can only apologise. It's because I'm interested.
So, what drew you to sort of applying for a job at Aber?
So, so firstly, as I said, I was in the chromatography mass spec space, which is primarily chemistry in industrial settings and analytical settings. But by training, I'm a biologist, so
Oh, okay.
biotechnology, bioengineering. So I was looking for a way to move back in that direction, and I was also looking to have more of an impact in the product development process, and moving into the commercial side of the business of scientific industry even more. So I was looking for something in the product specialist, product management area, and I saw the advertisement for Aber Instruments. Now I'll be quite honest, I hadn't heard of the company
Fair enough.
before, and then starting to research it, understanding it, and it was apparent very quickly that ABERs is a really special company. I mean, I don't know, people listening to this, whether or not many of you are aware, we're actually an employee-owned company. So everyone here is a shareholder. And what that creates is a real atmosphere of ownership. Everyone is really personally invested in our technology and in the success of the business. And that's really special. And that's one of the primary reasons that attracted me to the company itself. But also, our technology is, we've been here for 30 years, but we're still at the cutting edge of capacitance and we're innovating constantly. I mean, we'll get onto it in a moment,
Sure.
but obviously, Amber
Yes.
represents a huge innovation in the capacitance space. And
Yes.
that's really exciting that I came on board just as we've reached maturity on this product. But the next generation of Aber products, which I will be able to contribute
Yes.
to, or I hope to be able to contribute to, I think is a really exciting space. So
Yeah.
that's the primary reason that I decided to come on board.
No, thanks for that, Alex. I think you talking about employee ownership means a lot to me as well because you being here 7 months and having absorbed the employee ownership, as we call it, the culture, is quite incredible because for some people who are not familiar with the concept, it does take a little bit to get used to.
Definitely.
But once you're in, you're in.
Yeah.
you know. But you did sort of obviously broach the subject of Amber, but let me just sort of give you a quick background to the conversations we've had about scalability so far. So, we've had a very good conversation with Anne, who spoke about bioreactors in general. So, the external point of view, what are bioreactors? Why do they come in different sizes and form factors? Why can we not just start a bioreactor run at the 15,000 liter scale? Why do you need to start from a small scale? We covered all of that with Anne. Then we spoke to Matt, our group CEO, and that was quite an insightful conversation too. And in fact, you mentioned this cutting edge technology and the development work. Matt did throw light on how challenging it has been, or it could be, for a sensitive technology like capacitance to be digested as a trustworthy solution across the board. Whether it's between two different probes or probe types, or between vessel types, or across territories around the globe. Right, at last count, we were sort of serving over 150 countries around the world with our technologies, which is quite incredible. So that was,
I think we've sold into almost every country in the world that's not sanctioned.
oh wow,
I think,
that's incredible.
yeah.
That is incredible. And to think that we're based out of Aberystwyth in Wales is even more incredible.
Yeah, I'm sure most people listening to this don't know, but Aberystwyth is only a town of about 15,000 people
right.
on the barren Welsh coast.
You're not doing it justice, Alex.
It's absolutely beautiful. Everyone should come here, in all honesty.
Yeah, it's true. It is true. Um, and then we spoke to Reese because the proof is in the pudding. We spoke about how our technology can be scalable, but is it? So we spoke about 3 or 4 data sets that our customers have produced independently that demonstrate scalability. The fact is that you need to work with technologies that are scalable, but also preferably technologies that can tell you whether your scale up strategy has been successful. And fortunately, capacitance over the years has been that technology. So those were the conversations that we've had, and now we are here talking to you
Yeah.
specifically about the Amber. But just if you humor me just for a couple more minutes, I'll talk about a little bit of a background, right? So I've been visiting our customers for many years now around the globe. Um, I want to say 7, 8 out of 10 customers have asked me for a solution, a capacitance solution on the Amber vessels. Um,
It's good to hear.
it's consistent, right? I mean, obviously, the Amber platform is a hugely accepted platform in our industry. It's at least as we speak currently, it's one of a kind. There are a couple of other competitors, sure, but it's the Amber platform is one of a kind at that scale. So you tell me, since you've uh, sort of started working for Aber, what was the journey, the Amber journey for you like initially?
So obviously, when I joined, we were already at an advanced state of maturity for the product. In fact, I think it was my first week in the job. We had one of our internal gate reviews. So our product development process, we have various gates with various deliverables, which was a bit of a baptism of fire because I was asked to comment on some of the commercial aspects, having not really actually had a chance to see that. What became very quickly apparent, though, obviously I'd already developed a detailed level of understanding of our existing products, our mature products that have been in the market for many years and are obviously very widespread now. And what was immediately obvious is the technological or form factor advancements that have been made to create the Amber solution. So that was my first takeaway, is that this is a big leap forward in how capacitance can be delivered, and the fact that we've developed it for these smaller scales now. Because feeding into the scalability theme of this conversation, our mature in-field products, they've mostly been used at slightly larger scales. We
Yes.
do have products that can go, you can put them in your 1 litre bioreactors, but that wasn't their design principle. So Amber is the first solution that was designed to go into these really small vessels. I mean, I think the minimum fill volume of an Amber vessel is 100 mil. And that was a great technological challenge. So learning about how we've addressed those challenges,
Yeah.
the work that's gone into it, the innovations that have been made in order to deliver
Yes.
the Amber solution is the journey that I went on. And now we're at a stage where we've reached market maturity. I mean, the product is available from this autumn.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should be saying that in this
Yeah,
podcast,
sure.
because it's obviously an OEM product for Sartorius.
Sure.
But we're at that stage now, and that's really exciting.
So you mentioned our conventional probes, right? So for the longest time, we've been, selling, supporting, servicing our reusable technology, and more often than not, these probes produce an electric field which is about the size of a tennis ball, if you will, but so say 40, 50 millimeters in size. Then we also have the single-use Neo sensor, which has been designed for the thermo bags, where the electric field is smaller, about 10 millimeters in size. What about the Amber probe?
So it's comparable to the Neo. It is slightly smaller. The electrode configuration is very different.
Yes.
As anyone who sees the two things, in terms of the scalability, there's a place in your product lifecycle for both those products. So people who do have the opportunity to see both, you can see the difference is very marked. The electrode field size for amber is marginally smaller. It's still in that 5 to 10 millimeter
Right.
range.
But
Yeah.
like you said, though, that is um, such an achievement technologically, because to miniaturize capacitance measurement is not easy. I've been witness to that as well, right? Toward like I've been sat in conversations with R&D, RDPS over the years. It's not easy at all, and just to get that electric field to that size so that it can measure in the amber vessels reliably, repeatedly, is no mean feat.
Yeah.
So I'm really proud of the R&D team to have
Absolutely,
achieved
and
that.
and the feedback that we've had from development partners on it has been very positive.
Okay.
So I can't go into too much
Of
detail about
course.
it because again they are Sartorius's customers
Sure.
ultimately.
Sure.
But the feedback that we've had from Sartorius during the development process is that all those development partners ultimately are very pleased with the
Got it.
product.
Okay.
And at this stage of maturity,
Yes.
we expect.
So
most of them to
let's
continue.
talk about customers, right? So we've spoken about Aber so far, and like our sort of internal view on developing a solution like this, which is great. Let's talk about customers. What does it mean for our customers to have a capacitance solution at that scale?
So if we roll it back
Yes.
slightly and we say, just to reiterate, the value of capacitance is the real time, inline, highly complex data that you are able to gather from your cultures and your processes, which the idiom is very well known. Better data equals better decisions. Ultimately, it saves you time, increases your the value of, or sorry, the revenue you can generate per batch, etc. Now, historically, as I mentioned earlier, that's been done at slightly higher scales, which are, by definition, slightly higher in value per run, and they take slightly longer to do. By miniaturizing capacitance and bringing it into a high throughput platform
Yes.
like Amber, what customers and users will be able to do is iterate faster and iterate for a lower cost, so that you will be able to achieve that complex insight benefit that capacitance gives you at these small scales, so that you can develop your process, you can develop a really complex understanding fingerprint, so you can achieve optimization of whatever it is, your titer, your efficiency, your transfection point, whatever it is you're looking for. You can optimize that fast for a low cost, and that will translate pretty much perfectly up into your larger scales. So you no longer have to spend a year iterating at 1,000 liters at a cost of, £30,000 a run. You can now do it for the really low cost
Yes.
and
Yeah.
get the same result.
That's very well put, Alex. I think it sort of completes our scalability story in many ways. Of course, there's a lot more to do. There's a lot more bioreactors types to serve, but as we've often said, that the larger the vessel, the easier it is for us to measure capacitance, because there's more space in the bioreactor or on the head plate or even from side ports. The smaller the vessel, the more challenging it is, and cracking the Amber challenge is again quite useful from a customer point of view as well. If I may, I'll just add a couple more points to sort of add perspective to what you just said as well. Over the years, so capacitance was invented by Aber in 1988. Capacitance was new at the time as a means to measure viable cell density. So, of course, and understandably so, a lot of our customers want to convert capacitance to their offline counts, a reference method. Typically, it's the Tripen Blue method, offline cells per milliliter. Now, over the years, as the technology has matured and as our users have developed more confidence with it and have understood more about it, they've come to realize that there is a lot of benefit into trusting capacitance measurement on its own. So instead of converting capacitance to cells per milliliter, you just trust the picofarads per centimeter unit of measurement, because you can do a lot more with it. So for instance, you can detect apoptosis early. using capacitance. So instead of have it conform to an offline method of measurement, you just look at the capacitance profile for what it is and make decisions on your process. Like I said, better decisions for your process based on that profile. Now, there is a big school of thought currently that has determined that this is the right thing to do for your process, which is trust capacitance. The challenge is, like you correctly pointed out, many of these users, customers, do not have the liberty to develop their processes based on capacitance alone because it was not available in the Amber platform, which is why they would have to, they were dependent on the offline counts in the Amber,
Yeah.
at the Amber scale. Then when they go to, let's say, 1 liter process development scales, then you can introduce capacitance, but then you can't just shift from cells per milliliter to capacitance.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that with this new development, we are giving or empowering our users to develop their processes based on capacitance from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. You're absolutely right. So, to borrow a phrase you used earlier, the proof is in the pudding. So, there are several major companies and biopharmaceutical companies that now use capacitance, picofarads per centimeter, or for everyone out there, we call it puffs here.
Yeah.
A bit of Aber slang. They've adopted it as their standard measurement, but they have had to invest a lot to, as you said, gain the trust and validate it. Now, you've already spoken. I think you said Reese spoke about various success stories, which
Yes.
so I won't reiterate
Sure.
them here. But
Well, actually, one of them was from Sartorius too,
Oh,
but without the Amber platform, of course, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
so, I mean, to quickly go over it again, I mean, using capacitance to control your process and trusting the data typically yields double-digit increases in your yield. People listening to this, apply that to your process, and you can do the maths yourself. But you're absolutely right. By again reiterating my previous point, by making it available in a higher throughput, lower cost format, you can invest in validating puff as your sole measurement
Yes.
for a much lower cost, and it's an easier way of integrating it into your process from its genesis.
Yes.
It is a big step forward in the cradle-to-grave availability
Yes.
of capacitance.
Yes. Yes.
We can now provide you a solution pretty much at day one,
Yes. Exactly.
and you can carry it all the way through to your process.
That's exactly
the
it. I
industrial
think
scale.
You make a very good point, and so it reminds me of my. So typically, when I speak to our customers, I feel what differentiates Aber from others is our long-term approach towards offering solutions, cell density solutions. When I say long-term, I mean you mentioned cradle to grave, right? So you want to be working with a technology that you can use now and across different scales in your process through to manufacturing. You want to use it in both reusable and single use. You want your technology to be manufacturing ready. You want it to come with all the validation certificates, material certificates. You want to work with a technology that is backed by an amazing technical support team that functions globally. So all of these factors play into the long-term view that Aber has always taken towards offering solutions to our customers. Cool. So now, I don't know if we can talk about this openly, but can we talk about any data that has come from the Amber studies yet, or is it too early?
So it's too early, and it's also the data is owned by Sartorius as the developers
Yes.
of the system. So what we can do, however, is talk in general terms about the data that's already been published by Sartorius. So the data that we can talk about essentially looks at the comparability of capacitance in the Amber format versus larger scale formats. And what we can say is that the fingerprint of your process that you develop in Amber holds true,
Yeah.
translates
Yeah.
to those higher scales.
Brilliant.
You might not get exactly the same puff, exactly the same amplitude, because you are talking about different measurement fields, which means the sheer measurement field scale relates to the amplitude of your signal, obviously. But the fingerprint stays the same. And that's the key deliverable of cross scalability.
Yes.
And that's what will allow you to understand your process at small scale and know that what you have determined at 100 mil scale
Yes, will
will be
apply.
true at 10,000
Yes,
litre
that's right.
scale.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we've been talking about this exact point through the other conversations as well, which is there's a basic expectation from our customers when we develop anything new to know that the newer offerings from Aber are comparable to whatever has come before that. Because the technology now is relatively mature. There's a lot of our customers that have done a lot of work previously. They have historical data sets that they don't want to just trash because we've come up with something new. So what you're saying, even with the Amber vessels, is that the data that you get from the Amber will be translatable to the other schemes.
Yes. So again, without going into too much detail, several of the development partners have already been capacitance users. So they had historical data
Yes.
at those larger scales,
Yes.
and their feedback has been it matches
That's
what we
very
now get at
encouraging.
Amber.
It's very, very encouraging. Excellent, Alex. Thank you. Is there anything else that you've noted down, like, which we haven't covered?
So we've talked about the scalability aspects of it. I've touched upon the increased speed of development
Yes.
that this is going to allow users to achieve, because it's the first high throughput format of capacitance that we've provided. I don't think there's anything else necessarily that I was going to raise, because we've organically touched on, the fact that the general advantages of using capacitance, that really complex
Yes.
fingerprinting and understanding of your process. And we haven't mentioned the fact, obviously we've been talking about raw capacitance data, which is the backbone of our technology, but there's obviously a huge amount of more complex derived parameter data that you can gain from it.
Yes.
And that also in the future is going to be, we hope to be able to integrate that also in Amber, so that you'll also be able to get that really complex fingerprint beyond even normal capacitance data. And also the fact that this has been done in a single-use format
Yes.
illustrates the fact that the industry is changing towards these single-use technologies for various reasons that we won't go into here. And that the fact that we've been able to deliver this product at, it is a low-cost product, demonstrates again the sort of dynamic shift change that we've been able to achieve in the model.
Yes.
So I don't think there's anything else particularly there.
One thing that so I'm glad you mentioned single use, because that is one of the biggest features of the Amber solution, which is it is single use. So I'm glad you.
Oh, sorry, did we not
remembered to say
mention that? Yes,
I don't
single
know
use.
if maybe you did. I didn't catch that, but yeah, certainly a very. It's a highlight of the solution, which is that it is a single use solution for a single use platform. The Amber vessels are single use as well. In terms, just so our users know on which platform is it actually available. So it is the 250 mil vessels, but are they able to do batch fed batch perfusion runs in those vessels? Or no?
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, as you said, it's the Amber 250 Gen 2 machine.
Yeah.
The successor to the Gen 1, which, as you mentioned before, is the market leader in this sort of high throughput, low volume platform. So it's available in the 250 mil vessels, the PCO2 vessels specifically.
Okay.
And yes, you're able to do batch fed perfusion runs. Its flexibility in terms of the process that you want to try and implement is universal.
That is excellent, because just to sort of very quickly just stress on that point once again, in view of what you just said, we spoke about trusting capacitance with batch fed batch and perfusion applications. We have customers like Biogen who trust capacitance to feed their complex nutrients in a fed batch 2 application. But we have Lonza, Janssen, who perform their perfusion, who control their perfusion rates, especially Lonza, control their perfusion rates on CAP-SPR, capacitance-specific perfusion rate, instead of CSPR. So I just imagine and hope that users like these would be able to do this from day one, like you said.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a question more for Sartorius.
Yes.
And anyone listening to this, if you have a complex process that you are interested in exploring, contact Sartorius. They are one of the world leaders
Yeah.
in application development. They have a world-class support team
Yes.
that complements ABERs.
Yes.
I wouldn't want to speak for them, but I would suggest they are relatively confident that whatever you want to do, they can help you do it. And if it's not possible for whatever reason,
Yeah.
they have a huge portfolio. Biomass, which is all powered by Aber Capacitance, is available in multiple formats across
Yes.
their portfolio.
It is an important point, Alex, because our relationship with Sartorius goes back a long way, right? So the first ever single-use capacitance solution was on their platforms. And so our relationship with Sartorius is quite strong. You're absolutely right. They are a giant of a company with an amazing team, but we also work with them very closely behind the scenes to make sure that they have all the information that they need from a capacitance probe standpoint. Excellent. All right. I think is it yes, there's another question that I want to just check with you. What about customers who already have the Amber vessels and they are interested in adopting capacitance?
As in Gen 1 users.
Yeah, so is retrofitting enabled?
So, short answer, yes.
Okay.
Long answer, if your
Depends.
machine is new enough.
Okay, yeah.
So, again, you would have to check specifically with Sartorius the
Yep.
cutoff age.
Yep.
But Gen 1 instruments that are newer than a certain manufacture date
Understood.
are retrofittable.
Okay.
That will be available at some point in 2026, I believe, but I
Okay.
wouldn't want to necessarily speak out of turn because, again, that's Sartorius's product.
Mm-hmm.
But our technology that fits into the Gen 2 instrument can fit into those Gen 1 instruments. So that will be an option for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Now, I think we've covered quite a lot of stuff, Alex. Thank you so much for your insights. And I will repeat again, it doesn't seem like you've been with us for 7 months. For people who are listening to this might think you've been here with us for 7 years because of the knowledge that you've gained, the projects that you've been involved with. And I know there's many more in the pipeline,
Yeah.
many more important development projects in the pipeline that you are driving forward very meaningfully. So I'm
Yeah.
grateful for that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you, Alex.
Excellent.
Good.
Thanks very much.